All right, now let's move on with the discussion of the methods of collecting data. So there are four common methods in collecting data, survey data. We will discuss what are the advantages and the disadvantages of these four common methods. First is the in-person interview. It involves directly asking the respondents questions face to face. So these methods provides in-depth information because the interviewer can ask follow-up questions, clarify the responses, and it also produces a high degree of confidence in the data since responses are directly obtained from the participants. So yung kumbaga the trust dun yung confidence natin na tama yung data is mataas. While there is advantages, this method is time consuming and expensive. Imagine if you're going to survey around 400 students, this would take a time. Ano, it is expensive also, especially when covering a large population. And additionally, the results may sometimes be considered anecdotal if the sample size is limited. Napakahirap pag limited lang yung sample size mo. For example, you have 5 respondents and then yung 5 response yun, different pa yung location. It is expensive and time consuming. The next common method is the mail surveys. Mail surveys, it involves sending questionnaires to respondents through posted mail, through emails, or sending forms. So the advantages of this is it can potentially reach wide audience without geographical limitation. Kasi syempre, through online, pwede natin makuha yung kanilang mga survey results, allowing access to almost everyone. However, for the disadvantage, mail surveys are costly and slow. Costly in terms of the use of, maybe before, costly siya kasi pag sending ng mail kasi talaga may bayad siya sa mga post office. But right now, if you are going to use email, hindi na siya disadvantage. The next one is possible delay in response in collection. It means that we are not sure if mabibigay agad nung respondents natin yung sagot kasi it really depends on them. Hindi natin makukuha. It depends kung nabasa nila yung email, and that could be errors on the respondents' misunderstanding, or maybe fail to complete the survey properly. But ngayon naman, yung mga email natin or mga forms na binibigyan natin na survey through forms, online forms, is meron naman tayong mga validation ng mga datang ilalagay natin doon. But basically, yan, those are the advantages and disadvantages of mail survey. The next one is phone survey. It phones surveys conducted by calling respondents and asking questions directly. The method, it is highly reliable data, same with our in-person survey, and it enrich wide range of respondents quickly. Same ng mga emails. However, disadvantage, it can be expensive, especially kung hindi ka unlicol, di ba? Or if you're calling through a telephone, syempre iba yung mga bayad dyan. It also cannot be self-administered, and trained interviewers are usually required. So pag mga ganyan, talagang kailangan mo na yung interviewer is well-trained and well-knowledgeable on how to conduct phone surveys. And lastly, the mail survey is different to web and online survey. Parang dito papasok pala yung mga email. Sorry. So yung mail were pertaining to the posting mails talaga, yung mga post sa post office. And then the web or online survey, this is the most cost effective yan. Kaya sabi ko kanina parang mali na yung advantages eh. But this is the most cost effective. This is fast and allows respondents to answer in their own time. It reduces likelihood of data entry errors kasi yun nga, may mga validation na tayong pinalagay sa mga online surveys and forms natin. Ang disadvantages, some participants may reluctant to provide personal information due to online privacy, or maybe yung magsa-survey is hindi talaga siya um, partner respondents natin. So, ang gagawin natin, i-cleanse pa natin yung data na na-receive natin. So, those are the four. And basically, to summarize, in person, again, it provide detailed data but costly and time-consuming. Mail surveys have wide reach but slow and responsive kasi magpiprint ka pa ng mga post nun, mga mails. And then, phone surveys are reliable but require resources and personnel. But online surveys are efficient but limited, and trust issues. Okay? So, let's move on with 3 ways of presenting data. Once we collect the data, we gather all the survey answers. there are three ways on how to present data. First is textual, which means that this method comprises data presentation with the help of paragraph or a number of paragraphs. Kumbaga, you are describing kung ano yung mga nakuha mong information galing from your respondents in paragraph form, in sentence form. The second one is tabular. This is a method of presenting data using the statistical table, systematic organization of data in columns and rows. So, ibig sabihin, this one using a table, meron kang mga category, and then magpo-provide ka ng mga frequency or the number of respondents answer this particular answer on that certain question. So that is tabular. While graphical, it is a chart representing the quantitative variation or changes of variables in pictorial or diagrammatic form. So these are some of the example. For example, for the frequency table, so ginagamit natin sa frequency table in order to identify the number or the number of frequency for that particular category. For example, Jack team have scored the following numbers of goals in their games: 3-1, 2-3, 2-4, 2-3, 2-5, 4, and 3-2. So if that will be a text data, or in the our data are presented in text, medyo mahirap siyang mag-draw ng conclusion. So ginagamit natin si frequency distribution table para mas makita natin yung frequency based sa mga category. So nakita natin dito, ang pinakamadalas or the most often score na nakukuha nila sa isang game is 2 points. The next one is 3 points, and the lowest frequency is 5 points. So mas madali natin siyang nag-grasp yung information. Other graphical representation of frequency is the bar graph. So this is some of the example of bar graph. It could be vertical or horizontal. So meron naman tayong mga software na pwedeng gumagawa ng mga gantong type ng graphical representation na mas madali. So like Excel and other things. Line graph naman or line chart, more on the time basis representation of data. For example, sorry for the example nung it could use line graph naman per category. But majority or the basic use of line chart kasi is for us to know the trend. So mas maganda kapag yung mga based on our time, day, date, or months ang ginagamit natin na mga categories doon sa ating table, mas maganda line chart yung gamitin natin. And lastly, sa our pie chart, this shows naman the proportion of the category on the whole data natin. So the slices represents the portion of the whole. Dito natin mas makikita alin yung may anong category yung may pinakamalaking anong category ang may pinakamalaking portion. Ibig sabihin, kung ano yung may pinakamalaking portion, yun yung may pinakamalaking sagot doon sa survey natin. Okay? So those are the graphical representation of frequency distribution and the different ways on how can we present data.